Hi, in this video I will show you how to create this type of player info UI entirely with materials without using any textures. Then I will show you how to set up widgets so your teammates' info will look same as yours. So let's begin. Okay, so I just placed item spawners. So it will be apple, then we have shield drink, and I just have can, and I have guard, which will hit us, and then we'll see if our shield and HP working. Then we have hood controller. Everything is by default. As you can see, here we need to insert our widget, except just here, show team info. I just said to no, because otherwise it shows that another like Fortnite style UI. But in this case, we want to show our custom. If something won't work, again, experiment, try, maybe enable that. But in my case, I needed to disable that. Okay, so now let's begin. So this is a folder from my previous tutorial about circular, this progress bar and for play UI, all that. So in here, I will just create new folder, version 2. Okay, so let's start with, maybe let's create frame. It will be more complex because it's fully procedural in material. So let's it be a player info frame. So straight away, it's user interface and translucent. So how to do it? I will use, just to simplify, so generated round rectangle, and I will use two of them. So then we can combine them and create interesting results. So we have that, and then we need, of course, texture coordinates. Then we will control multiply, because in a widget, when we're adding image and when we're applying material, we need sometimes scale, not proportionally. So then we need compensated with this. Otherwise, our frame, for example, will be squashed, yeah, or stretched. So with this, then we can compensate. Okay, so as always, append. We won't control X and Y separately. Normally, it's called like tiling. So I will call it tiling. It could be just scale X and Y. And again, like because I know my numbers, so I straight away will add them based on your parameters and your like frames. Maybe you will try different results, right? So then experiment with values as well. Okay, so we have this. Then we want ability to move them. So one, for example, this one, it will be main frame. So when I'm moving with this at, yeah, this one, I want second one to follow. So then I don't need to do too much work offsetting and really aligning them like this one, second one. Because if I'm moving this one and this already aligned, it will move together. It's kind of like a layering, like hierarchy. So then from this one, it will go to UVs. Okay. And from this one, we will have another offset control for this UVs. So now we need this again separately. So we have already this append. Let's append. And this will be, let's say, box mask 1 offset X and Y. And value in here will be minus 317. And in here will be 0.89. We can copy this too. They're pretty much same name, just need to change 1 to 2. Like that. Okay. And we need to change values. So in X, it will be, oh, actually, this values is for this one, and for number 1, actually different, will be plus 399,335. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah. This one now it's correct and is correct. Okay. It's like this. Combine them nicely. Just for readability and so you can see it easier. Okay, so this is offset. Now we need to populate all these inputs. Okay, so for, let's say, for the top one, again, we need append because there is dimension vector 2 and we want separately control height and width. This there and this is there. Okay, so for this will be our, again, box mask 1, size X, size Y. For the size 0.28 in both. We can add here this corner radius, tiny number 0.03. And last one is sharpness. And this will be, well, small number 0.13. Okay, so we have this. Now, because again, same names, we can copy this. Now, this 1 needs to be replaced to 2, of course. So for this size, I want, let's see, maybe 0.757 and 0.102. Then for corner radius, it's same. And for the sharpness, it's same. And now we can use max node to connect them like that and see what's going on. So we're creating this kind of shape, right? Because one it's offsetted to the right and one it's on the left. So one is bigger, then it's smaller. And you can see that if I would start, let's say, move this one, you see, so it moves like that. But see, if I will go further, so they're two separate, but like that, they look like a one solid. And this is pretty much like we're creating now a new shape, just combined by combining these two rectangles. So let's put back minus 0.377. So now I don't want, of course, for the frame, it would be like solid like that. What I want is just to have like an outline, like a frame itself. So for that, easiest way is to use sine, and I will use period of 2. So I'm just like showing you like this, but usually it looks like that, and you can change it here. So let's do this, and then I will use smooth step. If you watched my previous tutorials, like usually almost using smooth step up to the sine with this kind of like approaches, because then we can control sharpness and add really nice quality to that. Again, I encourage you to create like that parameters, like name them, of course, and scalar parameters, and play with these values as you like. You can get really different and nice results if you want. But again, because I know my values, and just for tutorial, I'm just making them as a constant. So if I will input them like this, it means I can them change later. So they will forever be like that. But I encourage you to play with these numbers. And I forgot, like before sine, I want add multiply, just like that. With this multiply, we can control how many of these outlines will be there. And it's not direct number, like 4 and 4 lines will be, because we're changing here as well parameters. So for me, this value was really nice. Okay. So what at the end we will get something like this. So you can see now we have 2 lines in here. Now grade 1 in the center, but then we still have a white thing in here, which is not cool. So what we can do because if we will look into this one, see, we still have this shape. So this one is nice and everything here is black. So we can use this as a mask for our the shape. So if we will multiply this with this and look, you can see we erased that background and we have this nice shape and a little bit gray this background. So this background will be like semi-transparent. Pretty cool. Okay. So we have this and we can now multiply it with a color and this will go in our color. And this will be just color because it will be only one and we're not planning to control it later. It will be just mainly here. But of course, you can create material instance and control from material instance. Okay. So for now, I will add it into the color, but later I will use a lerp because we want to add a player avatar. And we will do this directly in here as well, instead of using separate image elements in widget. Okay. So this looks good. Now before jumping into adding this avatar, what I want, let's create already a user widget. And let's say player UI. Okay, we're adding canvas. Then we will add overlay. I will adjust this one later. Just quickly, I will add some random numbers like that. And then we need image. And I will just fill it fully, that overlay. But instead of doing like this, like fill, I want to control size. Yeah, so I will keep this as is, like alignment. But in here, I will just put same value. So overlaid 360 by 120. And overlay, I'm not setting to size to content, right? And this one. So in here, we can create material instance. Put in here. I forgot to change the weight. Why I don't like. Or maybe I forgot to save. Okay, yeah, I forgot to save. It was crying that it's not set to user interface, but it is set. Okay, so it looks like that now. Of course, we not applied yet opacity. And what I want to add now, why, for example, it's not like why it's cut, yeah, it's cropped on the left side, because I want to add this shear, right? So it will look like this, basically what you saw in intro. But I want to add this inside of the material because if I will do this, as you can see, player avatar would have this shear as well. And I don't want that. I want avatar to be straight. And we can't do this. Otherwise, we would need, again, separate image for that avatar. But I want to show you how to do this in material. So we will do this in here. And after our multiply, we will create material function, simple material function, and then we will add it here. So let's do it now. So material, advanced material function, mf, land. So for this, we will need function input, and we need two of them, and two will be vector 2, because we're dealing with just UVs. So this one will be directly UVs, and this one will be our control and direction. So it will be slant mount. So it will be XY, and this one, our texture UVs. So what we can do, we can set by default and we can add it like that. Sometimes you won't even need then input these UVs and it will work. In our case, because see, I'm not adding directly UVs, I'm adding after this tiling. So then I will need to add UVs. If you would need just only these UVs, then you don't even need to add because it can use this. Okay. And for this one, it's use as well default, but default will be 0, 0. Okay. Now let's look for swizzle this. And then we need this one into XY. Then we need from YX multiply. And then from our this UV coordinates into this multiply A. Okay. And then we need another swizzle. Now again in XY, then add, and again YX, add, and like this. Then we need subtract, yeah, division, and from here we'll go into division and divide it by 2. And from here into subtract. And we're done here. Can expose to library. Let's drop it here. Actually, let's get back here. So I want UVs be on a 0 priority and this one be on a 1. So it should be on the bottom. Yeah, like that. Okay. And now we need this control for the slant. So again, we need append, lots of appends today. Slant mount X and mount Y. So on the Y, I don't want in this case. I want only horizontally, so X, so 0.26. And you can see how it looks. So if we'll save and go back into our widget, come on, there we go. And you can see now it's not cropping on the left side. And it's like just touching. Cool. Looks like a gun. Okay. Let's do now player this avatar. So for this, we need, of course, texture sample. Let's convert that to parameter avatar icon. Again, when you will do binding, whatever you're binding, keep in mind you need exact names, yeah, for your parameters. Otherwise, it won't work. So keep that in mind. In here, I will just input like any texture. It doesn't matter because we will override that in the game. Just only sample source I want to change to clump. I'm not sure if it's clumped or not in these icons, which we then assigning. You have these avatar icons. Maybe they're already clumped, but just in case, I want to control that, so I'm just clumping. Okay, so that's fine. Then we can already connect, so then we won't forget. So we want lerp, this one, because it's on the background, it goes into A, this one goes into B, and then in a color, like that. Ignore that it looks like that, because it's again 0.5, it means it's like half. If I will say like 1, right, it will be that, 0 will be that. But we will implement mask right now. Okay, so we need texture coordinates, then actually need same tiling because it's a part of the same this frame. We need same tiling. Then we need scale by center. Because I used here like box mask, then underscore and size. So maybe I will use this same here. So it will be avatar underscore scale. like that. And size will be 0.3. So we won't fit it in there. Okay. Then after this, we want control offset, obviously. And from the offset, it will go into this texture. Okay, and again, append. And we need now avatar, offset X, avatar offset Y. So for the X, it will be 1.07. For the Y, it will be 1.117. The reminder, I know my numbers already, yeah? So you can experiment with yours. Okay. Now, if you would look inside in this window, I can't even move it because it's UI, but all this, it's actually just stretching and it's not a texture itself. All texture with details, you may see it's in there, right? Let me set it to 1. You will see it better. Yeah, see, like it's on the left, all these details, and this is just stretching. So what we need to do, we need to create mask now to mask only this area. So we want to show, and all this like stretching crop, we want to remove it. Okay. So now let's use this generated round rectangle, and yeah, we'll create new parameter. So let's use that. Now for the UVs, we need that slant again, because all that thing now, yeah, it's angled. So mask should be angled as well. And let's see, I think maybe we can even use these parameters. Maybe, we'll see. If not, we can create new ones, but I think this should be fine. Like, should be identical. Okay, now from this add, we're connecting into UVs. And then from here, we need again control offset. So let's maybe copy all that. A lot of appends. So this goes into add, right? And we need to rename this too, because now they're not for avatar, it's for mask. So this will be avatar mask offset. And this will be as well avatar mask offset. So for the X, it will be minus 0.032. And for the Y, it will be 0. So this goes into UVs. And now we need, let's copy this. So this will be our size. So we can connect into box dimensions and again rename it. So avatar mask, and instead offset, it will be size X. And in here, it will be size Y. So for the size, it will be 0.8 and 0.8. Cool. Now we need this corner radius and sharpness. So corner radius will be 0.1, and for the sharpness 0.5, like that. And we're not using center anywhere. You want, of course, you can use rare root nodes. I usually using them. And in this case, it's fine because everything goes like linearly. Okay, so we have our mask, and we're done here. Now because avatar, this icon, there will be some noise in the background, but there is alpha information. So we need to use this, but first we need to multiply with our mask, and we have our mask. So then we can connect it to our color. And you can see how it looks. Move it like that. That's fine. And finally, we need our opacity. So for this, we can use max, and this will go, actually, we can even double click in here, create that root node, this one, connect this to opacity, and in here I need this one. Yeah, so until here it was everything black and white, and then we adding this color. So we don't want this color information, we want that. Yeah, like that. And this is how it looks. So you can see I added softness. You can experiment and remove that softness. This is in here. Let's wrap that. So these two, corner radius and sharpness. So you can see like the sharpness, right? At the same time is growing that mask. So you can stop maybe like here. And with this radius, you can play like that. I like how it is like this, so it's fine. I like a little bit this softness. Okay, so we've done with this material. And we have lots of parameters, and I'm not grouping them. I just don't want to waste my time, but I encourage you to do it. Otherwise, you will have mess in your material instance. For example, if I would look into this one, you see like it's really difficult to read because everything just in one mess. Okay, we can close this one and we can close that one. Let's grab our material, put it here. And to name it and group it, you can just click in here, just write your group and set priority. And that's it. Okay, now we can add here health bar and shield. So I had like many people asking me, yeah, circular progress bar is cool, but how to do this with linear? There are like multiple ways, of course. This one is pretty cool, which I will show you. So it could be then with segments and without segments. Okay, so yeah, let's do this. Material. Let's even call it linear progress bar. Again, user interface, translucent. For this, we again, we need to generate it around rectangle. Then again, append vector, the size. We will need to do some stuff with UV, so that's why I'm leaving it for later. So for the size, it will be, there won't be multiple of these boxes and sizes, so that's why I'm not naming it like box mask 1. So it's just size X, size Y. So for the X, it will be 0.75 and Y 0.8. Then corner radius, this will be 0.1. And sharpness, again, we're not using center, 2.5. So we have that. Now let's do some stuff. So what we want take this because we're not stretching it as a one solid line. We're creating small this piece. I don't know if I can, yeah, I can preview. So we're creating this one piece and then we want to duplicate it. So first of all, to duplicate something manually, we can use just frac node. So it's like fraction. And now we need our UV texture, coordinates, and multiply, connecting there. As you can see, nothing is happening, but you can control it like that. And of course, if you would control X and Y separately, then you can have X and Y separately. But we won't control that differently. So we still won't control X and Y, but we will do differently instead of just multiplying, that's it. Because we're not doing this vertically, so in the Y I will set it to 1, but I want X. Now let's do division in here, and this one will be max value, right? This will be how many of this we want steps, but same time, when we will bind to this material, we will use max value, max of the health and max of the shield. So it's easier, just call it max value. So let's set it to 200, or let's say 100. By default, player will have 100, yeah, maximum. So this will go into our divide. And why I'm doing divide? So basically, again, these values, they will go one-to-one what we see on the screen. So for example, 100 health will be 100 in the parameter, right? But usually we're working in materials between 0 and 1. And in this case, what I want is just 100 of just 100 of anything like shield or health. I want to be represented as a 10 these boxes, right? If, for example, that would be 200, it will be 20 boxes. So then even player visually will see like if his maximum health increased, he will have more boxes. So it's pretty cool. So then I'm just like dividing it by 10. So whatever number will be here, it will be just 10. Okay, so then I need floor. So then it's control. If you, for example, will have 99, right, like, or something in between, it will give you just lower number until you reach that number when it should change. See, like this. So now, for example, yeah, you can see like, say 60, yeah, it's not changed. 55, then it's changing, right? Whatever like math allows it to change, it will change. And with more, you will have more. Okay, so that's cool. Then we want control progress. So now we created this bar. That's pretty cool. But we want control progress, right? Like, so this is just empty, let's say, cells. We want control this, like, let's say, when you have a green or a shield blue. So for this, we will create stepped gradient. So this will be our material function. And it's very simple as well. So we will use by default just horizontal. So yeah, horizontal. So then we will mask texture coordinates in red channel. And we need function input. And this as well will be, no, not vector 2, it will be scalar because we're masking. Okay. So basically, let's set it by to use default one, this one. So if you will input it inside of the material, then it will use whatever you input. But by default, it will use just horizontal. But you can make it vertical if you will input it separately. Okay, and I want another scalar input. And let's call it that first. So it will be gradient. because we inputting gradient. It's not UV coordinates anymore again because it's a scalar. It's not UV space. It's not X and Y. And here will be steps number. And we can set a default value, maybe like 4 or 5. Then let's do multiply this with this. And in here we need subtract. In subtract, instead of 1, we need a small number like 0.99. Then we need max node. And in here it should be opposite. So 0.01. Yeah, so it's opposite to this. And in here we will do floor and divide. It we're done here. What we've got. And it shows how many steps we have. Now let's add that stepping in here. Again, I forgot priority. So this one is 0, this one is 1. Or actually, yeah, better display. So, okay, this one will go in our stepping. As I said, it's already done for me horizontally. If you would want to change vertically, so you need to input in here, but I don't need to do this anymore. Okay, so this one is here. Then we need basically control a little bit from here. And first of all, this will be our progress. Yeah, so this is current hill for shield. And then we need divided. Let's move it maybe a little bit down. Let's grab this into here. So we need divide this progress by max value. Why? Because basically it will give us between 0 and 1, right? So if progress, so basically your health will be on 100 and maximum is 100, so it will be of course 1. And lower the number will be, so lower it will be between 0 and 1. Cool. So we have this, and then we need subtract this one and this one, like that. And add our cell. So now this is pretty much done mask. What I want control is not just only color of this progress, right? I want control as well. So basically this one, it will be background, and then green will be, or like blue, it will be our progress. So I don't want to make this disappear, like, but I want control, don't want to purely white, maybe like half, so basically gray. So we can do this with lerp, and let's grab this and use this in alpha. So this will be in alpha, and one will be background opacity, and this will be our progress opacity. So this one, I will set maybe like really tiny number, and we will see. So it barely will be visible, but it still will be visible. Like good enough. Okay. And let's create maybe a root node. Finally, first one. And this will be progress mask. Okay, so now we can use this one and this one like that, and connect this to opacity. We can actually stop previewing. Cool. Let's set maybe half. And now we need color. So this is pretty much just left that thing. So lerp, this is color. You can already see, yeah, so background, it's darker, and then this is our progress, so we want color that progress. And actually in background as well, not scalar, we need color. Convert to parameter. So background color, as I said, maybe like something gray, like that. Low intensity. Cool. And this is a progress color. So by default, I will set it green, but of course, for the shield, we will change that in material instance. Look like that. And in here, we can just progress mask. Voila. So you can see, let's say like 10, right? 100, 80. And again, it won't stop in between, right? Final thing, what I want to add, but let's first add it in here. Then I will show you what I want to add. It's basically like wave, which you saw again in the intro. Pretty cool animation. Okay, so let's first organize this a little bit. So in our overlay, see, this one is fine, but it's really here in a corner. And I know that in a map, in the private maps, there is a text, right? Like it's in edit mode or something like that. So it really difficult will be see this one. So what I will do, I will just move it a little bit from that corner and then lower it down like that. Of course, again, place it wherever you need in your game. But because again, there is some UI, so it will be not look good. We'll just put it here. So let's name this one image player info frame. So naming is really important where you will have like more and more of these elements, because when you will do binding, you won't know what is what. Okay, so for the overlay, because there will be like multiple stuff, then it's better to add another overlay to control that stuff together. So for this one, let's first add maybe something to it. So let's add background, and this will be our just border. So instead of image, I will change this to round box. And in here, fixed radius. I will set radius of the corner 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay. Then for the color, so let's maybe change this color a little bit. Really too bright. Yeah, much better. Okay, and this one as well. Actually, we can even sample. We can copy this hex as RGB color and just paste it in here. Okay, so it gets same color, but I want it to be darker. Stand out. Like that. Okay. So alignment in there is fine. And for the size, let's set it to 220 and 60. I believe nothing else needed in here. Okay. So now, as it there, yeah, as it there, we need now adjust this overlay parameters slightly. Because it again, if I will change it to this one, then wherever I will put this overlay, I will need to change and change again. But I want to change just overlay and everything else will move together. So for this, I want to move it on the left side. So like that, 45, and then 20 from the top, and aligned like this. And we'll see. I will still need a little bit adjustment. I will move it. And don't worry that it's now on the top, because hierarchy on the outliner is super important. And everything what goes lower on the screen, it will be more in front. As you can see, our frame now is behind. So that's why we're putting this image 92 above it. But later we will put this frame below. That's why it will be on the top. Okay, so this one is fine. Let's name it. Don't care about this one. This is just for background. Okay. Now we can add, we can duplicate this one and let's call it just HP progress, just HP. And now we want our material in here. So where is our progress? Let's create two material instances. So one is health and second one will be our shield. So let's drop it in here and let's change everything back to normal. So white. Okay, and this should be image. Okay, no rounding box. Okay. And I'm just thinking now, because we will have and health, then health text, then shield, shield text. So it looks like a grid. So it's easier to use a grid panel. So let's drop it in here. And now for the grid panel, let's use 5, just offset in there. And I will center it. So it will be there, centered. And I think nothing else needed. So we can just take this HP and drop it inside of the grid panel. And now for our HP bar. So let's see. So we want center, center. And we need to adjust this size. So 160 by 20, like that. Cool. And then we can use this here. So which I said like we can use in material or in here. In this case, we can use in here. So for example, -15, it will look like that. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. So then, because it's a grid, when we will add more stuff, then it will move. So let's do that. So let's add another image, just duplicating this HP. This will be shield. And just click this arrow down, see, and it creates that shield. So for the shield, let's apply our material, shield material. And in here, we want change a little bit. So X and color. So of course, color will be something like blue. And let's move it here. Why I want size is because if I will do it like that, you see, then this will look like a full, right? Instead of like separate, like every segments. So putting one now, maybe like 1.2, like that. That's it in here. So now we can just adjust scale and this rest parameters. So for that, what we need, let's on the right side do some offset, padding, right side, 6, because you see like this frame, it's angled. So we will make it shield a little bit closer and that one. It's basically the same. And let's place this overlay above that player info. So then it means now this player info frame you see on the top. So it will look fine. Okay. It's not touching in here, this HP background, but we will adjust it. Okay, so we have that. Now let's control a little bit size. So I want same length, but thinner, like that. That's okay. And let's maybe add, now it's really sharp cornered. We can change back to round box and you can see like it's already applying, but it's too much. Let's set maybe to 3. That's good. Okay. So now let's add text. So text again into grid panel. Let's maybe move it in there, like after HP progress, because it will be for HP. And now we need to click right button. So like, so it basically will be on the right side. Okay. And now for this one, we want on the left side, we want 5 padding, rest is fine. Then alignment on the left side, because basically when value will change, it will be, for example, 1 or 10 or 100, right? So we want value to go from the left to the right instead of just, for example, in both directions. And here in centered, then let's say we can even put it here 100, right? So we can preview. And then for our size, let's set it to 20. Yeah, looks already much better. Maybe let's change color to our green. And yeah, there's that's important. Should be on the left as well. And we can add outline. So basically in here, so it's outline size and then shadow, something like that. You can make it as you like. Okay. Now let's duplicate it, or actually let's first name it. So it's text HP. Now let's duplicate it, and now let's place it below that shield progress bar. But when you're doing this, make sure that it's not jumping outside of the grid panel. It still stays in the grid panel, okay? But just last. Let's name it text shield and click on this arrow down. Okay. And now let's change color to this blue. And let's adjust a little bit. So on the left side, we don't need that offset because again, it's a little difference between HP and shield. But on the right side, we want to. Then that same, size same. Yeah, I think it's pretty much same. Oh yeah, that's why it was a gap here. I forgot to apply this shear on the HP background. So here is our background, and we need as well same amount, minus 15, like that. Perfect. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, what I want to add, final thing, is this wave, moving wave, yeah, to our material. So we will add it in here. And let's create material function. Okay, so in here, we need texture coordinates. So you will input or not. So then we want function input. So this is vector2. And this will be our UVs. Because we will use this in 2 places, so I will just create a root node in here. Okay, so now we can use that first root node, and we need mask. Here will be red, and we need multiply, and we need function in here. Sorry, function input. So this will be frequency, and let's say by default 0.1, small number. Don't remember number, but yeah, we will see. By default, let's say 1. Okay, so then this one goes in here. Then we can even name it so wave frequency. Then easier to read. Okay, so then we need add, and here another input. And actually, sorry, this one frequency is not vector 2, it's scalar. And this one, it's scalar as well. And let's duplicate that as well. So this will be motion. So here you will connect your parameter. It could be time node or scalar parameter, which basically will drive this motion of the wave. It's like panning. And this one will be amplitude. So for amplitude, it will be 0.1, and motion I'm not even setting. So if you won't input anything in here, it will start erroring. Or actually, yeah, let's do, let's add. So let's add time with speed, and maybe let's add 0.5 speed. Yeah, and it's fraction, so it will go between 0 and 1 and repeat like that. And then in here I will use preview as default. So basically, if we want it to be looping on the time, we don't even need to connect that because it will be already working. Less nodes basically in material. Okay, then we need sine and multiply with this, our amplitude. Okay, so let's say this wave amplitude and motion, of course, but mainly amplitude. Okay, so now add. So whatever we did to UVs right in here, now we need to add them back. So basically we're taking our UVs and we're adding whatever we did to them. Then let's mask our basically direction. Should it be vertical or horizontal, right, movement? And saturate. There's our wave. Take our wave. Again, we got priorities. So let's say this one, it's our 0 priority, right? Then frequency could be our 1, then amplitude our 2, and motion our 3. Always forgetting that. Okay, now so we need scalar parameter will be our wave amplitude. So will be 0.1, will be wave frequency 1, and motion we already have it working inside, so we don't need, but you could connect, for example, here scalar parameter and control manually. And UVs as well, we already have inside, we don't need UVs in there. Cool. Then we need smooth step. So this goes into mask of this smooth step. Here will be wave fill. This will control our wave to go up and down, right? So it between 0 and 1 as well. So let's set maximum to 1 and maybe default to 0.5. So basically we'll be in a half somewhere. Let's invert that. And this will go into minimum. And let's add in here and go into maximum. So if we preview, actually I forgot to do something by default. Yeah, UVs. I forgot to add this preview to default. Okay, so and here's our wave. So now, for example, if I will lower, yeah, or higher. Cool. And this B will control sharpness of the wave. But what I noticed is basically let's leave it as is. and I will show. So then it will be or too soft in our UI, or when it's too sharp, make sure that you're really testing that in a game, because it may look in the widget fine, but in a game it may look pixelated and basically like jagged edges on the wave. So basically with this B we will control that. So let's create our root node. Will be our wave mask. I don't want to like separate color. I want the same color, but it would be like brighter and darker. So when is wave, I want brighter, and above, where it's darker in the mask, it will be darker in the color. So we need lerp for that first. Everything. So this one directly goes into B, but into A, I want to use multiply. And in multiply, maybe something like 0.5. So it will dim it, right? It will be less bright. Like that. And then from the lerp into that B. So now for the mask, we need our wave mask. Yeah, because of that gradient, probably we can't see it. We will adjust it. Let's save and look into widget. Yeah, don't see anything. It's really large. So now back in here. Actually, don't need this one. So let's create parameter sharpness, or opposite, softness. Because basically, higher the value, softer it will be. Now we can see our wave. And sure, if you will see in the video, but yeah, there is some like jagged little bit edges. But now you see like it's much smoother. And when it's too much, like totally disappears. So yeah, we don't want to go too crazy. And I will set it to 0.08, like that. From far, it will look really nice and smooth, but still visible. And I actually, you can keep it as a parameter. I don't need it. I will delete and just I will put manually 0.8, what we just tested and was working. Yep. So save. You can see nothing is changed there, but of course I won't be able to change later in the future. Okay, so that's done. This is our UI. Now let's do bindings. So we will do binding for the player, but then we will insert that into another widget, and this will work with your teammates. Okay, so in here, add view model, and we need player info. Yeah, this one. And then for the team, we will use this one later on. So this is this. Now, let's see. Oh, I forgot last thing, our name. Okay. So everything that's working. So let's just put name into, let's see, into this first overlay. So basically, where is our player info frame, and same text. Okay. So for the text, I will set it maybe 23. Okay. Now for the padding, on the left side, it will be 130. Then from the top will be, or actually not from the top, from the bottom, 30. And then in here, it will be center. Perfect. And this one on the left side as well. So with all this left alignment, it means, see, we have the space, because you don't know, like players may have like really long names. So for example, see, if I'm tapping enter, right? If I'm adding, so it's not goes again into both directions and won't overlap with avatar icon goes to the right side all the time. So, for example, this will be mine, and maybe let's add outline. Okay, okay. So now let's do our binding. Let's name just final this text player name. So actually, yeah, we can do like player name, text, player name, then player info. So in here, we need our avatar image. So it will be brush, conversion function, scalar parameter, or sorry, not scalar parameter, texture parameter. Then in this one, don't forget what you named, right? So for example, you can check in here. So it's avatar icon, I believe. Yeah, avatar underscore icon. Yes, it's super important. Okay, and for the value and avatar icon. Okay, so as I said, background, we're not doing anything. Progress. Let's collapse that. Progress. For the progress, brush. And we can straight away do two brush for the same. One it's current progress, another one it's maximum. So in here we need conversion, scalar, and it will be our progress. For the value will be our health. Now in the second one, again conversion, again scalar parameter, max value. I think so. Always double check. Yeah, max value. So max value, and for the value is max health. So I won't show you all, again, parameters. You can play with them. I'm showing you most important ones. So I'm not showing, for example, when you want to disable visibility, enable visibility. Yeah. So it's a pretty much same thing. Okay. So now shield progress, same thing. Let's do two straight away. Brush, brush, conversion, scalar parameter, and here as well, conversion, scalar parameter. So this one, progress, for the value. Now we need shield. Yep, max value. For the value, max shield. File, oops, compile, working, good. Finally, we need text. So this is HP text. So text, here we need conversion, text. In my previous for UI, this exactly for player UI tutorial, I used double because in the verse, it's always double. Double is basically float, right? But people were showing that it shows actually with decimals, right? So it's not round number. That's weird. And actually, if you will use integer, it will be round number. So this is what we want. So both work, but this one is better for UI. For the value, we want our health, nothing else. Now, shield, text, text, conversion, integer, and value shield. Okay, I believe I haven't missed anything. And I just a little bit darker in here. Yeah, like that. And that more. Okay, so that's done. Let's save. I see by the star, it says like this thing is not saved, right? And that thing. So let's save. Let's create new widget. Again, user widget. So in here, straight away, we need bindings. Because if you will add that, we will use grid panel, I believe. And if you will add, then you won't see button to add your player, this widget. Because first you need this one. So we need HUD controller for the team. Select that. Cool. Now, oh yeah, it will be stack box. See, oh, first let's add canvas and stack box. Yeah, and now you see in the stack box we have this button at view model extension. Okay, so let's keep it like this for now. Let's add our stuff. So in here we need our widget. So it will be our player in a player UI. And here we go. Straight away we can see it. Nice. So it's free. Maybe you want 5. So you can adjust. I will just add like 4. So you can adjust that all of them fits. Okay. And as you can see, even well, this stack box, it's anchored there and it's there. I haven't even set this size, and it's not set to size to content. It's still, because in my this one, I set location here, like lower location. So in here, everything is lower. So keep that in mind. So it's basically inherits everything from that one. Okay, really quickly, entry view model. So we have just only one option. And then in here, orientation. So as you can see, it goes horizontally. You can choose vertically like that. And of course, you can adjust your these paddings and all the stuff. So for example, here, either you're filling, you can play with this, right? I'm just trying like this video already long, so quicker to do this quicker. But I will set it to horizontal like that. Totally fine. Okay, so now for the bindings. So we have only one this, we don't need to add anything else. So clicking like that and then going in here. Oh yeah, on this one, on the top one, I think. Yeah. So basically you need to click on a topmost one, main HUD. Then in here, click back in here and you will see your this information, yeah, player info. Expand that. And then you have your team, this array. I think it's that one. Let's see. Yeah, it's not this. It's not that. Yeah, I think that. Let's try this one. It's not that one. Where are you? Oh yeah, this one. So stack box 90. So this is name of our stack box. And then set items. Yeah, it should look like that, right? So you see my stack box. Then in here again, the info, and just click on this array and select. And that's it. So all that is done and it should work. Now what we just need, we need take our main HUD we just created, last one, and add in our HUD controller like that. And it's done. So now let's launch our session and test. One more thing I forgot is in island settings. Yeah, don't forget that you need select your team. In my case, I had free for all, but you need cooperative, right? Or in the same team people. So let's set to cooperative, save. Okay, now we'll try. And as you can see, there are 2 of us in one team. And when I'm down, you can see that this starts still dropping, right? And I can see another player stats as well. So all that, it's perfectly working. Let's see shield. Yeah, and shield is working as well. Let's set it to 100 if I will have time. In nice place. Player name, all this, and that wave in HP and shield. It's really nice. I think like touch. So hopefully you will like it. And yeah, if you will create this, if you will implement this in your game, please share. I would like to see it. So have fun. I would like to say thank you to my all supporters. I appreciate your support. Thank you for your generosity. You can join our growing Discord community, where we like to discuss UEFN tips and tricks, showcase our work, and help each other. You can find link in the description or in the channel header. You can get project files on my Patreon or just buy me a coffee to support me. If you're interested in learning more about UEFN materials, coding, widget UI, and more, feel free to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notifications when new videos will be released. See you soon.